Welcome to the Goat Locker. This is the Chief. I'm here to help Guido 1212 lead a StuG life. See if we can help him get a little bit better. Taking a look at the lineup, we have the same amount of scouts on each side. We have one more TD on our side than they have mediums, but nothing overall seems very scary. I noticed that Luke's sitting in front of you has no camouflage. Therefore, at this tier, I'm going to assume he has no equipment either, being that camouflage is nice and cheap. So I wouldn't expect him to do a lot of good spotting for you at the beginning here. I noticed that you go over and you get into the bushes here, and then you kind of tunnel your way up a little bit on the left side of the road. In a second, I'm going to try and point something out on a spot that I find very effective on this map. Now we're going to pause it here in a second, and I'm going to go into a free camera mode. I have no idea what your Crusader is doing here. I know he's got camouflage on his tank, so he might be a better player, but I don't use XVM on anything anymore. And he's sitting up here in these little bushes trying to get some spots for you, and then I noticed that your Looks is not using bushes at all. He's just going to kind of trundle out there into the open, along with the 14 TP. This bush here that I find has a good aim view right down the left side of the road from where you're looking. It's over here to your left in the back. Now, I know you're using a camouflage net and binocs on this tank. At this tier, I don't think the enemy scouts are really going to have a lot of view range unless they're using binocs themselves. But you probably have some sort of light tank either in this bush here or these bushes over here. I'm not sure exactly what, but your guys are starting to take hits, which leads me to believe that you've got a scout tank in those, and down goes your Looks. At this point, you really have no shots on these tank destroyers up here. What's hitting you, from the looks of it, they're using HE. You have this tank that hasn't been spotted yet, and you've got these other tanks up here that haven't been spotted yet. So something is hitting your tanks that can't be seen, and still leads me to believe that you've got a scout tank in either one of those two bushes. I don't know why you're trundling up here trying to get better shots at this point, because you're not going to get a lot of scout spots here. It is in counter mode, and you are fighting as far away from the cap as possible. Sometimes it's also beneficial to go down here into the back line in the bushes between the tracks, or between the roads, and shoot up as tanks start to trundle down through the opening in the field. Gives you a little bit of a down angle onto them, but you kind of cannot hit them where the road starts to bend. So you've got a tank all the way up here on the line who has not spotted anything that's been hitting them. I'm still going to assume that you have something sitting in there on the F line. Zoom in here a little bit in free mode. So your Valiant is sitting all the way up here, and he is not spotting whatever has been spotting the rest of your team. So I'm still thinking you've got either a tank with camouflage or one without camouflage. There he is. There he is. Let's take a quick look at him on free mode, and oh, he has no camouflage either, but he must be running binocs because, and maybe a camo net, although I wouldn't run a camo net without camouflage. Camouflage is cheap enough for the rental tanks for 100 games this tier. You're going to take a shot here in the open. So you're going to get spotted here, this distance, especially if he's using binocs. There you go. You're getting hit by HE. I'm not sure why they're shooting HE. Especially the 14 should be shooting APCR if he's going to shoot anything. It has a horrible gun. All right, now you've got tanks sitting on the cap that are not lit, and Your T-14 is sitting there on the back trying to spot things that nobody's hitting because you have no tanks in the middle to actually hit the hill. Just like in the higher tiers, I would bring a medium tank or a heavy tank up into that dip right there before it goes up into the cap on the left side of the railroad tracks. Everybody's bailing on you here. They're leaving you to fight this road all by yourself. I think at this point, I would have started to work my way back down the back line and work my way over to the railroad tracks so I could try and get shots into the town. The T-14, he's behind a dead tank, I believe, and it looks like you're trying to hit him in the cupola, which is fine. You are using APCR, which is what I would do at this point. Although in your loadout with your tier 5, I have a tendency to overload my APCR at this because I get stuck into a lot of 6 and 7s. At tier 5 is not fun, especially in this tank, but the APCR is pretty accurate and does have a decent pen. At this tier, I don't think I would be running full consumables. The fire extinguisher, you don't have as many hit points as you think, and if you get hit, you're pretty much going to lose most of your hit points anyway. You're not going to really catch fire. I would run food, which is what I run on mine, and then I run this small repair kit and the small medium kit. I think I am running a rammer, a vents, and the new, can't remember what it's called, the one that brings your aiming circle down by 5%. Assisted aiming, I think. Right in front of you, there are 2 bushes. And right here, you'll also notice that the bush on your left has pretty good camo, and there's another one to your right down the little ridge here. If you get into those bushes, you can actually camo up, especially with your camo net and your binocs. You should have a high enough view range that you can actually see just the edge of the cap circle. But if something does get lit, and it gives you the opportunity to start knocking down some buildings. I'm not sure I would have pulled up to this ridge. I probably would have worked my way down up by the railroad tracks at the cap start. You have some shots up on the hill. At this point, we're going to go into a free camera mode to see exactly what you were doing, what you saw, and what you were shooting at. Here we go. So there he is, and he goes dark. It's an unfortunate shot. I think you actually hit the dirt behind it, just like that one. The first one I think went in, but I don't think you killed him. There you go. It's, again, these tanks keep disappearing. What I like to do in my StuG or these casemate TDs, that instead of zooming all the way in, I will zoom all the way in and then back out like maybe a click or 2 on my wheel, so I've got more of a panoramic view of what I'm shooting and what's around me. It's that tunnel vision that can get you in a casemate TD. You're going back to hit the StuG 4, the StuG 4. Not sure why you're leaving the cap to go this direction, especially since the cap is what's going to win or lose this battle. He's there. We're pausing. Again, I don't know why we're going after the StuG 4. You would be better off, again, hitting that bush right in front of you or the bush to your left and trying to get the StuG 4. That way you've still got shots into the cap if they do light. T6 at tier 4 can be devastating if they're using the big boom derpy gun. It's like a miniature A4 at this tier. I like using the small gun on the T6. Probably could have rammed him there and finished him instead of having to do this little dance around in a circle thing. Here I'm going to assume you're lit, and I'm not sure if you have 6th Sense. I haven't seen 6th Sense go off on your tank this whole battle. And somebody of your caliber running at this battle, they probably are grinding a crew. But now you've got the bunch of tanks shooting at you from the center. I would have sat there, gone dark, probably worked my way down the bushes a little better and scoot my way down, kind of like you're trying to do. But you peel back here and you go back up to where they're going to have view range on you. This tank has really good camo at its tier, especially with paint and camouflage on your crew. Could have done here is you could have double bushed yourself back up and gone up where that scout tank was lighting you from and get shots down into him probably without being seen. Or you could have used those bushes, and that's the end of the battle. I'm not sure why we tootled around in the middle of the map going in circles for a little bit, but it was a good game, and I hope maybe some of these will help you in the future playing your Tier 5 StuG. Goodbye, and I will talk to you later.